Jeff Stone here with day 88 of the year 2015 at MagicReview.com, and a little behind-the-scenes secret. It's really day 87, but by the time you watch this, you'll be watching it on day 88. That's right, I'm scheduling it in advance. So, now you know a little bit what goes on behind the scenes around here. Pretty intense, right? Ignore the man behind the curtain. Anyway, the Controls Project. This is day 3, the final day of Big Blind Media Projects Week. So if you watch the other videos, the one for false cuts and false shuffles and the one for the forces, this is going to be very familiar to you. This is going to sound very familiar. And every one of them I could sum up the same way. It's a huge collection of whatever the concept, false cuts or forces or controls. And it covers several that you're probably familiar with and several that you're probably not familiar with. They're all practical. They're not pipe dreams. These are ones you will actually use, or that you could actually use if you chose to. They're not these weird things that are just unusable. They work in real-world settings. And in between each teaching of a technique, there is good advice given. And specifically for the Controls Project, there's, talking about the proper timing for the control, formal settings versus casual settings, uniformity of action. If you mess up on the control, how do you handle that? How to practice it. Some extra tips on so for example, the double undercut. There's multiple different ways to do it and different tips on how to do that. There's a whole section on holding the brake, just on and on and on. So there are 25 effects. The ad copy says 26. All 3 of these videos, the false cuts and shuffles, the controls, and the forces, the ad copy was off by 1. It said 26 or whatever, and there'd be 25 in there, or it said 16, there'd be 15. I think Kent and Epper is writing their ad copy. So anyway, so with this you get the 25 controls, and I'll tell you what's funny. He did the bluff pass. And I've known about that for years. I've never used it. I just never thought it was would be that believable. Typical magician thinking, right? And he totally fried me with it, totally. So that's that. Just keep in mind, you may want to just open your mind a little bit. I had to open my mind and reconsider some of these that you may have overlooked. And I'm not saying you overlooked the bluff pass. You're probably smarter than that. I wasn't, though. But there may be one in here that you have overlooked, or one that you've never seen. And so if you're a card person, a card manipulator, or not a card manipulator, but a card trick person, and do any kind of card handling at all, then I think this is a great addition to your library. It's $35, and it's very much a good resource for a beginner, but it's also good for somebody who's advanced and who's done this kind of stuff for a long time, because there are several things on here that I'm sure that at least a few of them you're not familiar with. And even the ones that you are familiar with, that maybe you haven't used, it might rekindle your passion for the move or whatever. It might inspire an idea or a trick or something like that. There's 6 effects, as I mentioned, and they're from guys like Alex Elmsley and Jack Carpenter, Larry Jennings. Liam Montier's got a couple in there. Rovi, I don't know who that is. R-O-V-I. But the other ones I obviously know. And so the routines all rely on a control that's in it. It uses different ones depending on the trick, but they're all taught on the DVD, and a control and some other basic card handling. That's about it. So ad copy solid, other than the off by 1 business. I don't know what's up with that. The teaching is very well done. It's explained again. It's just like the perfect balance of all the details with not overdoing it and making each section super long. The DVD menu is very well made for a resource kind of a DVD. So in other words, if you're like, let's see, I want to relearn the Ovette Master Move, also known as the Kelly bottom placement. I want to relearn that. You just hop on the menu and you can navigate to it. You don't have to, a lot of these DVDs you have to push play all and then skip to the one you want or something. This one is very easy to navigate, and which is important for a reference DVD. So I don't know what else to say about it, really. It's if you need to learn how to do card controls, this is a good source. If you already do card controls, which we've all got our pet few. I've got a few that I use. In fact, one of the ones I used wasn't even on here. I was surprised because it's a pretty popular one, or a common one. I thought it was anyway, maybe not. But there's tons of great material on here, and even if you already know what controls you do that you want to do, you may still find something useful on here. So that's about all I have to say about that. So it's time for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it out to your friends, family, peeps on social media, and listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is Metallica. Yeah. Cyanide. This is off the Death Magnetic album, which is a great album. You know, they had that album they did called Saint Anger, and it angered a lot of fans. They didn't like the sound, and they didn't like the way the drums sounded. It's one of the things that Metallica is known for. They have a very distinct drum sound, and this one was a whole different sound. I actually like that album. There's one or two that I don't like as much, but I thought Saint Anger was a great album. But when the Death Magnetic came out, this was back to their old sound, the sound that everybody loved, and it's awesome. It's a great album if you're a Metallica fan. And even if you're not a Metallica fan, it's still a great album. You just don't know it yet. So, Cyanide by Metallica from Death Magnetic. Tune in tomorrow, day 89, where I've got a lot of requests for this one. Bam, Sherlockian by Ben Cardall, or Cardall, or Card something. Cardall. Anyway, I'll be doing that one tomorrow, day 89, and it's 2 discs, so I'm probably looking at least a 3-hour watch time. Not to mention, you know, hour and a half or so to write the review and make this video. So it's going to be a long review day, but I'm excited to watch this. I've heard good things about it. Hopefully they're all true. So, tune in tomorrow, folks. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Thank you.